Here we are, 2020, the CANAM Fantasy Football Podcast. And we're talking about the top 5 tight ends in 2020. Welcome to the show, guys. My name is Ryan Phillip Lamb. Don't forget to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Currently doing a drive for 500, so go ahead and subscribe. We're going to be giving away an Amari Cooper jersey that's been signed by Amari Cooper. So go ahead and subscribe. That'd be awesome. I'm going to go ahead to my left, Aetan. How's it going?
Hey, it's going pretty good, man. We're right in the middle of fantasy draft season, and I've done a bunch of drafts now, and I am just chomping at the bit to actually see who's going to start performing and who's not going to. So I'm excited for this one to talk some tight ends, and I'm excited for the football season, big time.
Yeah, I can't wait for the season to get started either. Devan Tyler, welcome back to the show. What's going on?
Thank you. What's up? Yeah, same as Aetan. All the news just keeps coming in from camps, just paying attention to what's going on around the league, getting excited, a couple drafts out of the way. Here we go.
No doubt. Tyler Ram, fan of the Rams. What's going on, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Looking forward to talking about some tight ends with you guys. I think we'll have some surprises on our list today, so it should be fun.
Yeah, no doubt. There will not be a Jonnu Smith on our top 10. But, oh no, we do have Jonnu Smith.
Oh no.
Oh no, we've done it. Okay, so that's supposed to be Blake Jarwin.
No, we got to own it now.
Yeah,
we got to own it. Somehow Jonnu Smith made the 10th spot.
We'll leave it up to Tyler to defend it.
Yeah, exactly.
I had him ranked 12. Okay, fine. Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, there you go. But anyways, today we're talking about the top 5 tight ends of 2020. And why don't we go ahead and start with one of the most consistent tight ends in all of football. That's Travis Kelce. Now, Kelce has gone for 4 straight 1,000-yard, 83-plus catch seasons. And, of course, he's a part of that amazing Kansas City offense. Aetan, how high are you drafting Travis Kelce this year?
Well, in redraft, I mean, if you want him, you're taking him in the middle of the second round. That's kind of the magic spot to get him. And I just want to say, looking at Kelce's stats from last year, the ridiculous part of it, the scary part of it is he actually had a pretty low touchdown count for his standards. So I think there's even more room for him to improve based on last year's stats. And that's just crazy for what this guy does year in, year out. There's obviously a bit of concerns with him now hitting 30 years old and him, with some of the injuries he's taken. But it's been a remarkable stretch for him, and you got to ride him until he gives you a reason not to.
Absolutely. You go to the next tight end on the list, George Kittle. Now, it's interesting because I've seen in a couple of drafts already, George Kittle actually going before Travis Kelce. So, Dev, what is your preference between the two? Would you rather have Mr. Consistent, Travis Kelce, or essentially the only passing option on that 49ers offense and George Kittle?
I think honestly, it's a 1A, 1B situation there. You're not going to go wrong with either one. And if you want to go, it's kind of like you got to rank. I didn't rank Kelce ahead of Kittle. So according to my rankings, I take Kittle. But if I don't blame anyone for taking Kelce is what I'm saying, because Kelce has been the number 1 tight end for the last like 3 or 4 years or something like that. So there's nothing wrong with it. And that target share that he had, 136 Kelce, I get it. But yeah, Kittle for me is very interesting. Especially with Deebo Samuel potentially out for some time in the beginning of the year. I think there's going to be a fair amount of target share for George Kittle. Last year, his average target share was about 7.6 a game. You just love that. You're going to take that all day.
That's awesome. Averaging 54 yards in 12 of 14 games, despite having a torn labrum last year. That's pretty fantastic. Moving right along, we've got Mark Andrews at the third spot. That Baltimore offense loves their tight ends. Of course, they had 3 tight ends last season. Goodbye, Hayden Hurst. Hello. More targets? What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah. Hayden Hurst leaving the Ravens is going to be huge for Andrews. He had 64 receptions last year, 10 touchdowns, which, I mean, anybody in your tight end spot who's getting you 10 touchdowns is great. So I'm pretty happy with drafting Mark Andrews where his ADP currently is. I don't know if I'd go a little any higher. But third tight end in on this list. I think that's where he belongs. And the Ravens said they want to pass the ball a little bit more, so a lot last year. But this year, I think we might get some more looks and targets, and who knows, maybe some more red zone targets for Andrews. I mean, topping 10 touchdowns might be kind of tough, but with the more targets, more equals more catches. So.
Yeah, definitely. 852 yards as well for a team that only threw the ball 440 times. So that's pretty damn impressive. Let's go ahead and take a look at our tight end 4. Zach Ertz, who has been definitely one of the most sought after tight ends in the league. This particular season, with, again, kind of a similar situation to George Kittle, with almost no wide receiver help for those Eagles. Aetan, are you taking a flyer on Zach Ertz?
This is the interesting part of the drafts that I find in redraft is you're starting to get to the point, even Mark Andrews, I think that you're starting to get to the point where you have to invest pretty high draft capital. And I'm not a big fan of doing that for players like Ertz, Matthews, Andrews, sorry, and the tight ends that are in this position. So me personally, no, I'm not going to have any shares of Zach Ertz through this season, but I mean, his numbers are very impressive and they're very good. And if you're one of those people that really want to get a tight end that you can trust and not gamble on it, then Zach Ertz is a proven commodity, and he keeps doing it year in, year out. I still think that this team is an interesting one because they have, a 1A and 1B tight end with Dallas Goedert there. And I do think Goddard is more talented than Zach Ertz. And I think at some point he's going to fade. But yeah, he's still a very good option. And by far, he's definitely a tight end 4 or tight end 5. I don't see any argument with that.
Yeah, for sure. You're talking about a team that has thrown almost 200 targets to their 2 tight ends. So there's a good chance that Ertz is going to get a little bit more than Dallas Goedert, but who knows? Maybe Dallas Goedert shines this year. Could happen. On to number 5, Darren Waller. Now, Las Vegas, the Raiders. We're looking at a tight end that has had at least 118 targets and a massive total of 142 targets last year, which is insane. I don't know how they're going to be able to replicate that. And it's interesting, they also have Jason Witten there suddenly. Devan, do you think that Jason Witten is going to be able to eat into any of Darren Waller's share?
No, I don't. Just to be frank, I think that's Darren Waller's job. I think they want to be continuing to give him the ball. He's proven quite a bit already. And yeah, 6.9 average targets, total of 117. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be taken much away from him.
No, that's fair. Only 3 touchdowns last year and a total of 1,145 yards. So that's pretty impressive. Las Vegas is going to need to score. They're going to need some offense for sure. So you could do worse than Darren Waller. So out of those 5, let's go ahead and take a look. Now, the boys have already had a couple of drafts over the past couple of weekends. How many of you have ended up with these top 5 tight ends so far? Let's start with Tyler.
Well, I have Mark Andrews as a keeper in CANAM, the most important league. So, I have him. Obviously, our league set up a little differently, but I was very glad to be able to get him on my team. I've gotten Kelce in a couple mock drafts, which I'm pretty happy about, but nothing in actual drafts yet, because he tends to fall a little bit further than in real life. With people taking like some of these less impressive looking running backs in the late second round. If Kelce's around in the late second round, I'm definitely grabbing him though.
Yeah, in a 12-team redraft, I managed to get Kelce. Again, kind of like mid-ish second round for sure. Aetan, any shares of those 5 tight ends?
And in my 2 most important leagues, I have a Kittle in one and Kelce in another, but both of them are keepers. So I haven't drafted any of these guys in redrafts, and I'm kind of more so going with the strategy of not doing that in redraft. But I'm going to see how this year pans out for me. If I regret my tight end position by the end of the year, I'll reevaluate and come back to it next year. But I definitely love having both of them in the pools that I do. It's an unbelievable advantage that you get over your opponents. So I haven't drafted any of them yet, but I sure would love to.
No doubt. Dev.
Yeah, I actually did draft Zach Ertz in our CANAM league. Now, again, our rules are a little bit different with the keepers and the keeper cost and whatnot, so it's a little bit different. But I remember at the time when it came back around to me, looking at the board, I thought for sure I was going to take wide receiver or running back there. And then Zach Ertz's name just popped out to me. I just thought that he was the most talented player available on the board, and I just took him, and I feel great having him. I mean, averaged 9 targets a game last year. That's insane. He's going to be heavily relied upon. You always have your concerns with tight ends getting injury because of how they play. They generally get more banged up than wide receivers, but other than that, yeah, I'm more than happy. So I say if you can't get one of the 2 guys, one of the 2, Kittle or Kelce, feel happy with yourself if you grab yourself an Ertz or Darren Waller or Mark Andrews.
Now let's look at the flip side. Are you guys fading any of these guys? Let's go to
myself,
Tyler.
No. Okay, Tyler, yeah.
I would say Darren Waller for me. I don't really trust Vegas too much on offense. I know he's one of the only options, but where he's going in drafts, I'm not too keen on getting him. So I think for me, Darren Waller, I'd probably wait a round or 2 later than what his current.
And sorry, Dev, you had mentioned that you're not fading any of them.
I don't think I am. The only one I would have a little bit of question mark for is Mark Andrews, just because the 10 touchdowns, I could see that coming down. But I mean, any one of those guys, I think if you grab any one of these top five, you're feeling pretty darn good, because any one of them could battle and end up being the number 1 tight end. Because if a Kelce or a Kittle gets hurt, all of a sudden you have the best tight end available, which is a huge advantage to your league. So for me, I don't fade any of those top guys.
Aetan, quick 1-word answer, yes or no? Fade?
Yes, I am fading.
Oh, fair. Okay, well, I guess maybe explain that. That was a really horrible setup. Hey, only explain yourself in 1 word.
In 1 word, I just think there's a lot of value in the late rounds. I think that there's guys that you can hit, and Mark Andrews and Darren Waller where both guys, same with Hooper, were all guys that you could have grabbed very late in the draft last year, and they were more than adequate. So you have the opportunity to draft very steady and very reliable wide receivers and running backs in the early rounds, and you're blowing a pick on a tight end that you could potentially find in the 7 to 12 range, like a Hayden Hurst or something like that. So yeah, I'm fading a lot of tight ends in all my redrafts. In keepers, I definitely like to try to grab them and have one keep them forward. But in redraft, I think you're investing too much draft capital in these guys when you're drafting them in their ADPs.
No doubt. Well, that's a good way to look at things, Aetan. And hey, are you getting ready for your draft? Go ahead and subscribe. We're going to tell you how you can win an Amari Cooper jersey signed by the man himself right now. Join us in our drive for 500 subscribers, and you could win a signed Amari Cooper jersey. Are you new to the channel? Give us a like, subscribe, and click the notify bell. It helps a ton for a new channel like ours. We're going to have a random draw for a signed Amari Cooper jersey shipped anywhere in North America. So go ahead, click subscribe, and thank you for watching the CANAM Fantasy Football Podcast.